Okay, now part two. So yeah, we're still in the part of the Egypt one. So actually, I think I made a mistake. It wasn't 600 years. It was 67 years. That's how old the family's grandfather died. Yeah, have him be part of the dinner. So yeah, the kids found Pipkin, and he just ran off. And Mountjoy's like, "Well, children, I guess we don't have time for dessert." So they had to go after him. They chased him, and he went into the pyramid. Well, it's the Egyptian pyramid. Well, a temple actually. So they had to go inside, and when they go there, Mountjoy dressed himself like a mummy to talk to Ralph, dressing up, still as a mummy. And he gives him a lesson that's based on what I remember learning from Egyptian mythology. He said, day was killed by night, which became seasons. So the day is Osiris and night is Set. And actually, it kind of referenced the mythology I remember. It's about Osiris, so none of you don't know. So, Osiris. He was a former god of agriculture and fertility. Yeah. So he was a civilizing king. He was an early benevolent king of Egypt who taught humanity about agriculture, windmaking, and civilization. And for Set, he's basically the god of chaos. So the reason why he killed him was out of jealousy, because Osiris was the beloved ruler of fertile Egypt while Set ruled the chaotic desert. So after killing Osiris, he became the god of the underworld. And his son Horus, who has a head for a falcon. Well, there's two of them. There's Ra and Horus. They're both falcon-headed gods. So Horus avenged his death by defeating Set. So it's basically like Egyptian version of the Lion King in a way. Before Lion King. And Hamlet. In a way. Although, if you guys don't know, Horus, he's the god of kingship, the sky, and war. Also associated with protection and healing. Keep that in mind. So back to the Halloween tree. So he basically teaches them that myth about Osiris killed by Set. Which basically, it's like the seasons, which is like summer and winter, or some day and night. Although Ralph asks, is this the Egyptian had that was like Halloween? And he's like, you tell me. And then he tells him, why are you in that costume? And then gives him a lection, which is about how Egyptians wrap the dead with wraps, as mummified. So it turns out the intent of this practice was not only to physically preserve the body, but also to prepare and protect the spirit for the dangerous journey into the afterlife. Yeah. That's basically why they wrap them up like that. So they also add some things in there, like the heart scarab. So a heart scarab amulet placed over the heart during the wrapping. So it's basically a spell to ensure that the heart, the seat of intellect and memory, would not betray the deceased during the final judgment. And the protective amulets, there's the Eye of Horus for protection against evil, the Scarab Beetle for rebirth, the Tied Knot of Isis for her protection, and the Jed Pillar for stability. So all that things you can list down. So Mount Shroud then gives them an analogy for a good with a mummifying. Like a caterpillar, when it turns into a cocoon, it transforms into a butterfly. So basically, the wrap would be a cocoon, and the soul would be reformed into a fresh butterfly, soul, to fly into the lovely afterlife, which again, basically, the underworld. It's kind of like Greek mythology with Elysian fields being like heaven, Tartarus is hell, and the fields of asphodel, which is like purgatory and limbo. So it's kind of like that. While the Egyptian pharaohs go up to with the gods. So I guess you could say it was like every day was Halloween to them. So he's like, yes, every day. So I guess you could compare a mummy to a caterpillar with a cocoon, in a way. Although they heard there was a ritual going on, so they're going to wrap Pip in a mummify him with wraps as an offering to the afterlife. So Ralph had to go out and save him, and he found him in a tomb that has like a baseball bat and a slingshot. Although Ralph calls out to him, he's like, hey, are you there? And Pip tells Ralph that he's fading, and he begs him, no, don't fade. What about what you promised me? About Pip promised to help teach Ralph how to wield a bat left-handed. And Pip tells him it's not really hard to wield a bat left or right, but he's always remember that promise. And plus he's the only one who's ever made fun of his his glasses or whatever. Which, yeah, Pip sounds like a really swell kid. No, it really is a good reason why the kids want to save him. Although the Egyptian priests and other workers show up, to the funeral practice and put the mummifying. Although everyone had to hide and Ralph had to act like a deceased mummy, just to blend in, along with Mountshroud. And just before they were going to do the mummifying, Ralph shows up like a mummy, like, ooh, and yeah, it scared everyone. And then Mountshroud just pops up, he's like, you had your fun, boy. Like, playtime's over, you had your fun. And it scared everyone out of the building. And Mountshroud had to talk to Pip, he's like, you and I have an appointment to do. You must keep it. And then there's a whistle. It sounds like a song that's both by rapture and sinful spirits. The souls, of the saved, or the souls of those that are in the rapture, and the souls of the deceased sinners. It's like a combination of the song or something. And then Ralph almost got his flesh back. He almost got to be alive, but turns back into a ghost, and Mountshroud's like, no! And then Pip carries a pumpkin and spins it, and he fly up top of the pyramid. So yeah, they had to go out to the air vent, the kids, of course, to get him. And when they reach him, well, Pip spun the pumpkin again, and he flew up into the sky. Although Mountshroud removed his own cape, and gives it to the kids so they can fly on it, to hold on tight to it. And they go off and go after him, and then they had to go chase him to another distant past, well, in medieval ages, in Scotland. So yeah, in the Dark Ages, medieval times of Scotland. So when they arrive, Mountshroud just says, time to celebrate, children. Happy New Year! If you guys are wondering about that, although the kids didn't even point it out, he's like, no, it's New Year, no, it's Halloween. Although he gives them an education, like, well, in our time it's Halloween, but in this era, it's New Year's. So, basically, what I looked up also from it, thanks to that film, so New Year was originally celebrated before Halloween, during the Celtic festival of Samhain, or Samhain, which fell on November 1st. This was considered the beginning of a new year because it marked the true end of summer and the start of winter. So I had to look it up as well about this holiday, the New Year being there. So, but during the Middle Ages, the Christian Church influenced the official calendar New Year marked by religious feasts such as Christmas. But on December 17, 1599, Scotland's King James VI ordered that the country would adopt January 1st as the beginning of the new year, just to keep up with the European calendars. So, just I had to look it up about the their New Year in the medieval times in Scotland. So Malchon takes the kids to Stonehenge. That's where Pip is at. Tells them that this is the Dark Ages, medieval times. Then Malchon tells them that during this time of the year, well, on this day, on Halloween, before Halloween came, that people thought on the night of October 31st, yeah, I should have used that one, yeah, as I'm not going to keep stuttering all the time, like blee, 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 like that, like Porky Pig. Okay, back to this. So people thought on the night of October 31st, those that have died during the year turn into beasts. Like they became animals like dogs, wild wolves, and cats. Black cats, black as night. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Those types of cats. So yeah, that cat, the shadow of a cat just came out. It's actually Pip in the form of a black cat. And the kids and Malchon had to go after him again. Although they went to what looks like a broom festival. They were cutting out some wood and branches and got some straws just to make brooms. It was all piled up. So, yeah, Malchon offers Jenny the brooms, which are for witches. And I guess somehow the brooms came to life. I guess Malchon made it happen. They all got to ride on it, but Jenny is afraid of heights. And yeah, Malchon tells her, "Where's your spirit of fun?" Although Tom helps her out, like, you know, it's kind of like riding a bike, and then she starts imagining her riding a bike while riding on a broom. That is, imagining her broom as a bike, and she got the hang of it, and she had fun. And Malchon was like, "Yes, that's the spirit." And they all flew and flew until they found look like a camp of witches. Well, it's a village full of witches, and they landed into the forest, and Jenny tells them she spots some witches, and Malchon's like, "Of course, it can't be Halloween without witches." And Jenny's like, "So there were witches?" And Malchon tells them, "Well, yes and no. Like, do they ride on broomsticks? Not really, but they can talk to the dead, right? Nope. They write warts on their face, on everyone's faces like spells? Sorry, no. Do they make people jump on needles? It's like, not to my knowledge. Like, well, what could they do?" And he says, "Nothing." Nothing? Yeah, the kids were like, "Nothing?" I'm like, wait, what? So they had to go there, see all those witches. So actually, he gives them an education in the Dark Ages. So Malchon tells them that in the Dark Ages, anyone with half a brain, any knowledge had his wits about them. So anyone too smart was called a witch. And with the really smart ones, with the wits, called it magic. So I had to look it up, and yeah, the local healers, fortune tellers, and midwives were commonly known as cunning folk. They were herbalists with a deep understanding of plants and their healing properties. Oh, what a thought! Actually, I think I also looked up, there was something related to Wicca, like a Wiccan religion or whatever. Well, I guess you now know there's also about healing people, huh? And smart folks. So, I think I'm going to stop right here again, so maybe I'll make a part 3, so see you later. Well, hopefully soon.